Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Door Shutter, coming back to you with a brand new episode of Craftoria. And today I have made some progress, as I said I would in the last episode, or the last live stream that we did, because we did live stream rather than recording an episode, because I was just kind of working on cleaning some stuff up and potentially working on getting a drill head, which did not happen because I needed a little bit more stuff and could not get around to it in the time that I set aside. So, I have been making some stuff. As you can see, this whole line is new and not from the live stream. I added 3 centrifuges, 4 electric mixers, and an absolute tank, which actually, these tanks, by the way, I'm going to point this out, 4 million millibuckets. So 4,000 capacity, okay? This is actually better than this, right? So if I wanted to, I could get a couple more of these tanks and completely replace these actual big, large tanks for Modern Industrialization 4 times, right? That's 4 times that tank, and cheaper, in all honesty, because I'm not using steel and wasting time. They aren't really that expensive. I mean, we set up all of the Radiance alloy in a previous episode, and I mean, of course, it didn't take too much to do. It's just atomic alloy, so yes, it's got diamonds and stuff, but nothing too crazy. But let's explain what's happening, because of course we also have the electric blast furnace and some electrolytic separators and some pressurized reaction chambers. So let's just talk about this, okay? So previously we got coal dust, which is what this crushing factory is here for. We're just purely needing coal dust. That coal dust is then piped off into centrifuges that then make carbon dust, okay? The carbon dust then gets piped out into this drawer, and then from this drawer, you can see this blue pipeline then pipes out and into these electric mixers that are filled with water. That then makes raw synthetic oil. The raw synthetic oil on this red pipe here, you can see, goes into this absolute fluid tank, up into the advanced fluid input hatch on the electric blast furnace. That then gets processed down into this synthetic oil. Okay, so we're basically making synthetic oil similar to how we're doing it upstairs, which, if you don't remember, that whole system is right here. So we put coal in here, that then becomes coke. Coke then becomes coke dust within the steel macerator, pushes up plus water. So coke dust plus water then equals the synthetic, raw synthetic oil. So you can see that. That then is piped into here to become then synthetic oil. So steam blast furnace, synthetic oil. That synthetic oil is then piped in here, plus water, plus paper to make rubber sheets. And we're not doing the rubber sheets portion. We're just kind of seeing how the synthetic oil is made here, which is a little bit more in time invested, because coke takes quite a minute to actually get made. You can't attach this to electricity. You can't speed it up with anything. There's no efficiency. It's just, it takes time. It takes steam. And it takes coal to then make coke. And you are always guaranteed coke, but it's also very slow. So the process we're doing here is different because we're using carbon dust, which of course we can make this quicker over time by adding upgrades or more machines or various other things, right? And in this case, I think we could actually add more centrifuges, but we also could look at actually just crafting up like 16 upgrades and just let those go. And we could put 4, 4, 4, 4, and or maybe 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I mean, we have options. Of course, we could make more, but that would speed it up a little bit, and that would give us more efficiency, especially because the centrifuge does not have the efficiency of 64, unlike the electric mixer. So this could reach peak efficiency, but it would actually overpower the efficiency here. So we have to keep that in mind. But anyway, all right, so yes, electric blast furnace, we've got the copper nickel coil that, you know, takes in the raw synthetic oil, then makes synthetic oil on the output fluid hatch here. That is then provided into a tank. This tank is where it stops for now. We then have pressurized reaction chambers plus oxygen. Of course, the oxygen comes from the electrolytic separator that has water pushed into it, which it looks like I may have messed up. Yes, I need to input fluid. I guess whenever I cleared these earlier, I accidentally cleared them improperly. And that is my bad. Okay, that should fix that. But yes, oxygen is needed here, which we are pulling from the right side, which is oxygen, and this is hydrogen. We're dumping the hydrogen. That oxygen then flows in here and then becomes the sulfur. And it looks like we're having an issue because we do not have a place for the hydrogen that is produced. And that actually needs to just go into a trash can or something. I don't think we have a way to trash can gas. Oh, yes, we do. Never mind. Hold on. I forget. These guys actually have a dumping method. Yes, they do. Right there. Okay. So we want to basically output that into one of these chemical tanks, but do we have a way of pushing gas? So I just separated the machines a little bit and added a tank because I kind of want to stick to modern industrialization pipes just because I'm experimenting with them. I haven't really used them, as you can see, and this is kind of the first opportunity where I've been able to use them for the most part, right? Of course, I've got gas pipes here because there's no other form of transportation. No other mods I could find that would add chemical pipes or anything. And if I'm mistaken, I would love to be corrected because I definitely would love to add a mod that I could have some modern industrialization chemical pipes. That would be fantastic in my opinion. Anyway, so sulfur dust. We've got that. It's good. Everything should be producing now because all of it's being piped into here, which is then being dumped. And if we wanted to, we could actually set this to dumping excess. That way we can have some hydrogen, just in case. That might not be a bad option. Okay. So with this, we then need to put this into the, looks like, mixer with the synthetic oil to make synthetic rubber, which is the product that we're looking for. And I think I did just make some mixers. Perfect. And we should now be able to kind of get these guys placed down. And we're going to do what we did over on the other side, which is actually set them just like so. And we're going to grab some item pipes. I don't think we need colored, right? I think we can just set these here and be good. Perfect. So input, 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 output. And then let's take these out. I didn't mean to place those. So I'm actually going to snag a piece of this and make sure that we set the recipe to each of these. Oop, I did not mean to do that. I was trying to press recipe so I could then set and lock all of these guys. Which is a much easier way than having to make sure we're, you know, not putting us like 4 stacks in one machine. We're putting, you know, 1 stack and 1 stack and 1 stack and 1 stack, right? Okay, so output. We're just going to blacklist. We're not going to filter. And then I've actually got an ender tank I could use here, or I could do fluid pipes. I'm not really too concerned with whichever option I choose. Let's grab... Hold on, let me just... Okay. That just bugged me for a second. Anyway, I do have an ender tank, or we could use item pipes, or fluid pipes, as I said. So I think in this case, we're going to just do ender tank. I know it's a very short direction, but I don't really want to just add more and more and more and more and more pipes. I think that's never a great idea, especially because I'm still kind of learning, right? So I do have another color of this ender tank, so we should be fine. So if we just set this bad boy, I think, let's see, could we move that pipe to be here? And then we just set the ender tank here. Ooh, not there. Ender tank here. And we just now grab fluid pipes to make this a little bit cleaner. I'm actually just going to go behind here. Remember, I moved the fluid pipes. Oh, that's item pipes. I don't want item pipes. And I have 36 fluid pipes on me. What am I doing? I'm losing it. That's what I'm doing. Okay. So then we just set these like so. And we're going to set output, and then everything else is input. And then we need to run power, which actually should not be that difficult, because we actually have a power cable right here. And then I ran out of them. So it is difficult, apparently. Let's actually do that. Okay. Actually, I guess we don't need that pipe there, right? Save at least one piece, and then I can actually put that right here. And that should get us synthetic rubber. So synthetic rubber, the reason we're doing this is because we want to actually be able to use the assembler like so. Basically 3 wire plus some rubber gives us the cable, right, of any kind. And there's, of course, some other recipes here, which we can look at later. These are photovoltaic cells. They're not that important. ME covered cables. Well, that's interesting. Didn't actually know this recipe was in here. But okay. Yeah, so we're going to use this in the 10 cable, actually, over here. Because we actually needed more 10 cables, but I ran through 3,000 rubber sheets in a matter of minutes. So hopefully, this will be more stable than the other thing, because we should be producing quite a bit. And what we can do here, fluid pipe, is we're going to grab some red pipes, and we are going to then just pipe this out into... I guess we could actually grab the absolute tank. I'm actually going to grab 3 of these guys. And the reason is because I'm actually going to replace the bigger tanks. We're probably going to shut off everything for a second and then turn everything back on, with that being the case. Because those tanks are absolutely ridiculous on the storage. And of course, the next tier is even higher. Remember that. But of course, we don't have access to the next tier. Preface, don't have access, because that requires us to get even further into mechanism. And I don't actually have the resources for that. So, yeah, the molten thermonuclear, which is superheated sodium, which requires the fission reactor. And, yeah, that's not difficult to say. It's just further along mechanism than I would like to go as of right now. We're focusing on modern industrialization and not mechanism. But if we were, we could get a tank. I think the that tank is... What is the tank? It's like 24 million, isn't it? No, 32 million millibuckets. So 320,000 buckets. That is absolutely nuts. Just so you guys are aware. Okay. So 4 million will do fine for a buffer. And this should not fill up anytime soon. Definitely not. How are we doing up here? 142, and we're still kind of gaining. We're definitely losing. So, once those upgrades, I think those are complete. Yes, they are. Perfect. So, I mostly probably want to focus on these. So, how many to get this to 64? Okay, so it takes a lot. How many is that? Is that going to be all 16? Let's just throw... Yes, all 16 to get 64. So if I wanted to do this, to make it as efficient as this, I would need to get 16 per. And the recipe to do these, to do better, would require polyethylene. And polyethylene is something we can look at in the future. Tiny lead, or yeah, lead tiny dust plus ethylene, which is sulfur plus ethanol. Yeah, that is something we'll focus on in the future. For right now, and of course, since these are going to still be useful, we can use them to make the other tiers down the line. I'm okay with probably making 16 of these per, which means that we need 16, 32, 48. We don't have enough rubber sheets. Of course we don't. Okay, why do we need rubber sheets? Is that because we need a specific cable? It looks like maybe, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, okay. We need to craft analog circuits. And what I've been doing, in all honesty, is coming over here and just snagging a handful of these, because then that takes down quite a lot of our need for this. So it looks like conveyors may be the reason here. To craft. So yes, 10 cables is the reason. So I'm going to go snag a whole bunch of these. And that should hopefully give us the result of getting more. We got the AC Rizlord spawning in, dear lord. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Yeah, but this will result in us getting more 10 cables at the end of the day anyway. So I'm okay with wasting some of these. And that should be golden. Okay. I'm going to set that off to the races. I'm going to work on clearing that tank and that tank. And potentially, of course, getting the upgrades in here and seeing if this will speed this up. I would assume it will, and give us a little bit of more of a buffer here, which is exactly what we want to see. So let me get that working. This doesn't take up that much EU plus, right? So 48, and this is 8. At max overclock is 32, max overclock is 64. So yes, this does use quite a bit more power. Okay, that's fine by me. Let me get this figured out, and I'll be right back here in a second. Okay, I just did the first one, and this just looks kind of funny now because we got this really small tank over here that now has, you know, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 block gap. But that does mean if we wanted to, we could add more steam turbines, which is fantastic. So if we actually start seeing power flickers, not on the mechanism machines, because those do flicker a lot anyway, and that is mostly because they... what in the world? Not enough energy to operate? Yeah, you have enough energy. But anyway, they have, if you put too many speed upgrades, they start to flicker a lot more. This is normal, but I know I added way too many here, and it basically drained it because the pipes do not produce or output enough to actually suffice. And so that is something, whenever we do HVs, when we'll have probably enough power to keep doing more speed upgrades. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys this first one. And we are at like 2 million, almost 3. So that is perfect. We are definitely producing enough steam to last. And I'm actually going to show you here real quick how I was doing this, because we do need to kind of be a little bit thoughtful on this. So we cut off steam production here. We cut off steam here. And one of the easiest ways that I saw to do this was actually adding a second colored pipe. So that way we're outputting twice. And this can actually speed up your transfer. So if we do this and this thing should be transferring pretty darn quickly. And you could add a third if you wanted to, because you can add up to 3. So if I wanted to, for example, add a blue fluid pipe, which I could craft real quick, we could make this even quicker. Oop, and I kind of forget I have to be careful where I'm clicking, because I am clicking on facades. So like that, and I were to just do this and this, I could do output and input, and that is already clear. But yeah, so you can just kind of see how I was doing this, but we can now clear off the pipes and get rid of the structure. And if we need to use these in the future, we can, these large fluid tanks, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. Honestly, with how significantly improved with the tanks that we are using are, I think we're golden. Let me turn back on bridging here. Okay, and then I'm just placing this here. Gonna undo that facade. I'm gonna grab a handful more red pipes, and then I'm actually just going to move the output of the steam underground, so that way it looks a little cleaner. And then, as well, actually I guess we could do this up here, it doesn't really matter, is I'm gonna take the normal fluid pipes and run them underground as well, so that way we're not seeing them visually. Connect, and then we're going to just output here. And now we've got a lot less pipes. Cool. Everything is still receiving steam. Everything is cruising, cranking, full speed ahead. We're still getting ores out of this, right? Yes, perfect. Oh, and apparently this has been disconnected. Oh, you know what I did? I never connected this thing back. Hold on. That's what I did wrong. Good thing I caught it before it ran out. Ooh, but I do need to increase the range. Okay, let's do that real quick. Fix my mistakes. You guys will see them on camera. That's fine. I'm not really too caring, because you learn from it, right? That's the biggest thing. We learn, we move on, and we keep on keeping on. So now that should be enough range to reconnect. I just kind of forgot this access point was over here, in all honesty. And that's how we were doing this. So I just need to disconnect the bottom, reconnect the top, get a pipe upgrade, and then I'm going to steal one of these bronze drills, and then I'm going to put this in here, and then I'm going to reactivate the bottom of this pipe, and then that way we'll start getting bronze drills pulled out, and that will give us better, right, overall, which is fantastic. And we're going to lock input as well. Okay. Beautiful. That is back, running, rolling. Also, all of the redstone that we activated yesterday, this whole redstone, it all processed. So these two were good enough to process all of that, which was like almost like 1,500 ore roundabout there. We processed all of it in only probably about an hour or two. And like, I mean, there was a constant flow of redstone. We never ran out of drills, so just something to note. How are we doing on this? Oh, we're making up a whole bunch of magnetic steel rods. That's one of the problems. Okay. But yeah, this is cruising, right? We've got some stuff. We've got improvements. I'm loving using these other mods to make this stuff like better, because right now, of course, we have the mass amount of steam, and this thing is basically seized, I would think, at this point, because it's unable to really. Well, I guess it's making minor amounts of steam. So if we wanted to, we could probably add like another tank. Maybe that might be another option where we have like 8 million, but I don't think we need to do that. 4 million's probably plenty. So yes, this is cruising. This is golden. I mean, we've got the synthetic rubber that we needed. We have quarter of a million, a little bit over. And of course, this is completely empty, isn't it? Yes. So hopefully, we'll be back next episode, and we will see that this is cruising. This actually, so 2 times. So this one at 10 is 4 times overclock. Oh man, I'm curious. What happens when we get to 64? Because if it's 4 times overclock, it's definitely not going to be quick as the mixer. Because I think the max overclock here is probably going to be 4 times. Well, this one's probably 10, maybe 12. Not 100% sure how that actually is calculated. Okay. And it takes a minute. Because each one of these, by the way, is 20 seconds. Each production of this carbon dust is 20 seconds. So right now, this machine here specifically is at 10, a little bit under 10 seconds. So if we get all of them to be under 10 seconds, that is going to be fantastic. Definitely, definitely. I've also got a diamond upgrade in there, so that should help it. But alright, I think with that, we're going to wrap this one up here. I really just wanted to show the synthetic rubber production that we've done, and kind of the synthetic oil, of course, that's kind of was covered in the live stream, so I didn't really go over it too well, but of course, if you guys got questions, ask. I love answering questions and getting things figured out. But why? Hold on. We're actually not. I've got one more problem. Why are we not piping out? Apparently I missed things. So let's kind of clean slate this. Hold on. So input on the bottom for the, or no. So for energy, we're inputting on the bottom. For chemicals, we're inputting on the bottom. For this, we are outputting the front, and we are inputting on the top. Okay? And then for chemicals, we're also outputting on the right. Okay? So that should cover that. But for some reason, it's not. It's because you are inputting. You need to be outputting, you need to be outputting, you need to be outputting, and you need to be outputting. So whenever I move these machines, I missed that. That is A-okay, but I'm going to then take the copy configuration card here, shift right click, go into the config, and change this to none, this to output, okay? And then we're going to do the exact same thing over here, but we're going to switch the power side to be the, that's the front, isn't it? And we're just going to have to toggle that. Perfect. And then I'm going to steal the config for this one and put it on this one. And we're going to do the exact same thing for power. Input front. Okay. These machines are a little finicky with all the pipes and stuff that I had going around. So whenever I moved them, I messed stuff up. But now, it looks like we're solid. And if I need to, I can add motors and stuff. But that should be getting us sulfur. That whole movement's what broke all this. And that's kind of throwing me off, but we're okay. I'm gonna grab that heal scroll. Level 9 epic heal scroll. What else has he got? Chinese cabbage. Pink daffodil, some gunpowder. Okay. Now remove yourself from my place of work. Okay. Alright, so yeah, we are now getting sulfur. Fantastic. Just have to make sure... It looks like everything is now cruising. And it looks like we actually had enough time of dilly-dallying to get all of the 16 upgrades for all of the centrifuges. Which is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, so at max efficiency, they are 2 times at 32. So yes, they should be 4 times at 64. Okay. Alright, now with that, we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Apologies for the kind of delay in the wrap-up, but I think it's okay. I think we're golden. Fix some issues. We have all the upgrades in place. Could probably add more, but I really want to get the better upgrades before I probably add more upgrades to those. Yeah, so thank you. Stay awesome, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.